Hi, students. Thank you so much for joining today's Welcome Wednesday. Our workshop is on converting undergraduate level research into graduate level opportunities. We have the awesome Professor Dr. Ali Gordon from the College of Engineering and Computer Science. I will go ahead and, if you guys don't mind, I'll send the QR code in the chat. If you guys could please scan that or use the link to check in. And if you have any questions throughout the workshop, feel free to raise your hand or ask them in the chat, and I will let you go ahead and take it away. Thank you so much.
Okay, look, thank you for having me here. I'm excited to get a chance to chat with you about about something that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is transitioning from the undergraduate program into the graduate program. I was as someone who was an undergraduate researcher. I was really active in the undergraduate program that I was in, and it was that engagement, that activity, and those same things that I see from you that I think helped me to to use as a springboard to get on to the next thing. So I'm excited that you're here. I've got these set of slides that I'm ready to talk about here. But the fact of the matter is that I want to be a resource for you. So if there are things that are not as finely detailed that I'm presenting that you'd like to learn more about, stop me. Let me know. If we need to go and talk on another tangent, let me know. If I'm certainly employed by UCF, right? And so I'm beholden to, my employer. But at the same time, all routes for you all don't necessarily need to go through UCF. I'm excited to see you go and be successful, even if even if it's at another uh, university in another state. So okay, so I think we're okay there, right? And so maybe just by show of maybe thumbs up or hearts or whatever, if you could give me a sense of how many of you all are involved in undergraduate research now. Is it everyone? Is it half? Is it what are we looking at? Looking at just a handful here. Okay. So that's good. So okay, so that's great. That's great. And I see some other names of people that I recognize in here. So that's great. Uh, well, look. So my focus is to really help you to to think about and to kind of help to set the stage and help you to understand you know uh, what others are thinking about you when it comes to grad school, right? I think everyone here has applied to the undergraduate program, and you've obviously gotten into the undergraduate program. You're very successful. Getting into the graduate program, it's not the easiest thing to do. It's a little bit more nuanced. And in my role as the associate dean of graduate affairs here in UCF's College of Engineering, I know for sure I've got the data to know that that some students are very successful with the process of not only getting in but getting funding, and then some others struggle. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So again, thanks for allowing me to be here. I hope to make efficient use of your time while here. And so again, there's no silly or stupid question or whatever. Chances are, if you have a question, someone else probably have the same question or comment. So you might as well just articulate it so that so that others can benefit as well. So a little bit more about me. Look, I'm very dedicated to students and student programming. I've had a chance to work with some really, really, really talented students over the years, and I'm thankful that they've shared their time and their energy and their expertise and their with me, right? Because I've tried to return that with success and with opportunities for them. We have a really good research group. I've graduated PhD students. I've had a chance to visit, the shuttle launch complex. I've taken students to overseas, and we've done some great things. We published a lot of papers. I've had students who won best thesis either in the department or dissertation, best in the department, best in the college, and so on. So we've done a lot of great things. And so I'm thankful for them. And if it weren't for their efforts, right, and their successes, I wouldn't be here to talk to you and have such a compelling message for you today. So anyway, I'm going to kind of give you some context. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about who I am. And then I want you to see who I am because I'm representative of the people who are going to be making decisions about your applications, right? And how to navigate, and we're going to be controlling how far you can make it in this race of getting into and being successful in graduate school. So I'm giving you the faculty perspective. So if I'm going to give you the faculty perspective, you have to know what a faculty is really doing. And so you're going to have to learn a little bit about what language we're speaking, right? You're going to have to learn a little bit about the various characters that are involved. It's not just one person who's making a decision on your application. It's actually a handful of people. And then I'm going to give you some attributes of what I've learned of what are the attributes of great undergraduate researchers, like, and I'm hoping that many, and I'm thinking that by virtue of your participating in this program, many of you already exhibit some of these great attributes, but I just want to reaffirm to you kind of what those are. And next I want to give you some action items, some things that you can do as you go forward in your path. Okay, and again, if you got any questions, kind of let me know. Okay, so again, I don't want to spend too much time talking about me, but look, I am very much a typical faculty member. I graduated with a PhD somewhere, right? And then I came here. I'm the kind of person who came here directly from grad school. There's some people who go and do postdoc first. There's some people who go and work in another faculty position before they get here. But we all earned a PhD before we got here. I've graduated 9 PhD students during my time. 4 of them are in academic positions, right? I'm very, very proud of those. Some are directors of engineering, other places. And I've been the associate dean for grad affairs here in the college since 2018. So we're going on 8 years here. And then I'm also a fellow of the American Society for Mechanical Engineers. So, it not only does it mean I pay my dues, but I've just been really active and successful in the field of mechanical engineering. My group and we've won a lot of awards over the time. We've done everything that a faculty member is supposed to do here at UCF, a school like here, where it's research, really intensive R1 type of institution, which is trying to grow research. I've gotten funding from a variety of, government agencies, companies over the years. We publish our work, and I've had a chance to be a visiting faculty at a variety of places. So at AFRL, Siemens, I've done, that's what faculty are expected to do. So faculty are expected to be in position to do those things. I can't do all those things on my own. I need students to help me to do those things. I've taught classes, so I teach undergraduate courses. I've taught some of those graduate courses as well. I've had a chance to have a summer REU program. I see one of the participants in that program in this meeting here. And then I also ran a study abroad program where we sent students to Brazil and also Barcelona and taught them there. And so all that was great. So something unique about our institution, I mean, you've heard the history of UCF over and over again, I'm sure. And you know that 30% of the people who are out there working at NASA are in are UCF alum, which is great. But it's something special about how UCF was formulated. It was formulated to be a tech school. It was formulated to be a school that was catering to the needs of local industry. So that is part of our DNA. And as NASA has grown and as other companies have gravitated to the area, UCF has been a key beneficiary of all that. If you look, so with regards to engineering and computer science and some of these types of companies, if you look in our area to see the kinds of companies that are here, right? I see Mitsubishi, I see Siemens is across the street, Lockheed Martin is here. All these companies that are here. I've taken students to go visit Piper and Embraer and Northrop Grumman and some of these places. I can do site tours with these companies. These companies hire our students, right? They hire our students in big numbers. These companies reach out to us to solve some technical challenges that they have, right? So it creates an environment where the things that we do here are very much informed by local industry and regional industry, but they're also turbocharged by what they do. They influence what we do in a great deal. So in that regard, some of the things that we have going on here are very, very contemporary. It's a unique ecosystem that doesn't exist in Gainesville. It doesn't exist in Columbus. It doesn't exist in many places. It doesn't exist in Tallahassee, right? So these are things to consider, right? I have former students who are working at these companies that are here doing some great things. So that's something that is maybe a little bit different about what we do. I'm not trying to sell UCF. I'm just trying to get you to understand that we're very much a partnership oriented institution, and our degree programs are very much influenced by the needs of the state, the region, and the nation. All right. So why even go to grad school? So first, you understand your why. I think you've probably heard that before. Know your why, right? And so many people will go to grad school for a lot of different reasons. Um, Advance your skill set. Of course, that makes sense. You're going to be taking courses that are certainly more advanced than what you're doing in the undergrad program. Look, I can tell you as an administrator, one of the things that we want to make sure that you have a very good skill set when you leave. But we're not trying to give you the full menu. We want an undergraduate student to be a blank slate, a blank palette that a company can draw on, right? We want you to be ready to be trained to do a particular job once you get there, right? And so we're trying to make you to be functional. We're not trying to teach you everything and all the specifics. It's not about depth. It's just making sure that you are able to go into, an organization and do well, right? The graduate program is different. We're trying to give you specific skill sets and help you to go deep into a particular area in a way that we just don't have time to do as the undergraduate program, right? We want you to have the chance to publish and present your work at places, right? Do a poster presentation somewhere. You get that as a part of the graduate program. You get that as a part of the master's or PhD program. People go to grad school because they will get a chance to, ascend in leadership positions. The typical student in a graduate course that I teach is probably going to be a director or an assistant director or a supervisor or something related to engineering or computer science later on. They will get there because they are kind of doing well in the company, but they also have a unique skill set and they've kind of shown a propensity to ascend. Why else? Improve your communication skills, right? When I think of some of the people who are the best at what they do, they're able to articulate their ideas in a way such that it is effective for them to get the resources that they need to do the things that they need to do, right? If you're a great engineer, a computer scientist, whatever, great results alone are not enough. You got to be able to communicate. So you get that when you go to grad school because you're defending a thesis, you're defending a dissertation. You're also taking classes with people who are going to be leaders, right? So if you look to your left, you look to your right, you hear it. You're going to be in a class with people who are also going to be upwardly mobile. So there are a lot of reasons to go to grad school. I also think about the fact that the UCF student who finishes an undergraduate degree will make $10,000 more a year if they finish the graduate degree. So comparing our undergraduate graduates and our graduate student graduates, the cost difference is sometimes 10, 15, 20K a year. If you multiply that by a 30-year career, that's enough to buy, a second house, airplane, create generational wealth. So these are some of the things you might be going to grad school for. You know your why, okay? All right. So who are some of the people who are going to be making decisions in getting you to grad school? We haven't even talked about undergraduate research yet. We're going to get there. So what do professors do? Professors like me, we just don't sit there and grade papers and just, uh, sit in our offices and smoke pipes and just relax and pontificate all day. No, we are very active. At a school like UCF, we're writing proposals. Faculty are writing multiple proposals every year. Some are small, some are large, but it is to go out there and get funding or to get resources to allow the research to happen. Well, what happens when the research money comes in? Well, we got to do the research, right? But you know, uh, I don't have time to do research, right? I'm teaching classes. I'm trying to write proposals. I have to find great graduate and undergraduate students to be in the laboratory to kind of do the research. I'm managing the research. I'm making sure the resources are coming in, but I need graduate students to be a part of that, right? Because what I'm graded on as a faculty is I'm graded on bringing the research in, and I'm also graded on number of publications, right? And that's the next bullet there, and that is to publish and present the work, right? So it's important that we do the research, right? But it's just as important as we disseminate our stuff. That's how the reward system works at universities these days. We have to make sure that we're having great ideas and that they're making an impact in the community. The way you do that is with journal articles and conference publications, books too, if you can. Do I have to teach courses? Yeah, I got to teach courses, right? So that's there too. Hey, I also have to serve on committees. And, if there's opportunity for me to do small projects and consult, I would love to do that. Right. So these are all the things that I'm kind of responsible for. And so, because of all these things, I really don't have a lot of time to be in the lab to do research. I just don't, because these are all things that have to get done. I got to balance all these things. I need students to help, right? And I want to help students, right? And so a faculty member is someone who is going to be a mentor to you, someone who can help guide you in the work that you're doing, but also someone who can kind of professionally develop you, someone who can answer questions for you about the field. So these are movies of my days, right? Karate Kid and Star Wars, all this kind of stuff. Common Hollywood trope is that there's someone who's experienced, who's seen the world, and then there's someone who is new, who's showing potential, who is learning, and just has to have some guardrails that to be put there so that they can be successful. So that's what you need to make sure that you have in your life, at least one person who is there to kind of give you some guidance on what it is that you're doing so that you can be successful, right? Someone who sees the world in a bigger way than you can, but probably can look at you and see your strengths and see your areas of development and help you along those things, right? And so you want to find a good mentor, someone who can help guide you in those ways, someone who can advocate for you, right? Mentors are all around you. They're there. You just have to reach out. I think it's very natural for people to want to give back. So chances are, if you ask someone to be a mentor for you, they would be willing to do so. Look, let's talk about grad students. Okay. And I love this picture. This is me with some grad students here. Actually a mix of undergrad and grad students here. This is where we've just finished building this device. I say we in a very, very liberal way. I didn't put it together. The students put it together. I know how it works. I didn't perform not one experiment on the thing. I didn't do any of the coding. I know how the thing works, so that when they were having trouble with getting it working, I'd say, hey, try this, try that. And I would coach them up and say, hey, look, you can do it. You got this. Go be great. Right. But it's the students who are doing the research, right? I manage the research, right? So I'm kind of making sure it's going in the right direction. And so what do grad students do? Yeah, they're taking courses, they're publishing, presenting their work. Some of them are promoting their work on LinkedIn or, other social media sites. Some graduate students also mentor undergraduate students, right? That's important because there are some of the projects that graduate students work on are much larger than what one person can do alone. Get you some undergraduate students to help you. Will graduate students write a PhD? Will write a proposal? Maybe. I don't know. Some will, some won't. If you're a PhD student, you have to, because that's a part of the program, right? You have to be able to ask people for funding to be able to have your ideas done. But those are the things that a graduate student is going to do. And those things mesh up really well with a faculty member who's going to be a mentor to you, right? Because they can help you along and help you to see your career path. Look, there's another another set of people that are out there that are really a decision maker when it comes to your application for the graduate school, for the graduate program. And these are graduate program directors. So, like I said, I'm a faculty member. I'm working in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. There are some people that are in the department and other departments who serve on the committee who look at the applications for the graduate program, right? Those are real people who look at that. They don't sit over in Milliken Hall. In most graduate schools, the graduate applications are reviewed very locally, very close to where the faculty are, and that's in the department. Every department will have someone who is responsible for managing the graduate program in that particular department. Here in our College of Engineering and Computer Science, we have 7 academic units. We have 7 faculty who are in charge of managing their graduate programs. They're looking at all the applications that come in, and they're making the decisions on who gets in and who doesn't get in, right? Our college typically receives around 3,000 applications each fall, right? And so they're not going to do it alone, right? This one person's not going to look at these applications alone, because they vary based on the different sizes of the departments. Usually these departments will have some sort of faculty committee that will help, right? They're also faculty in the department who also help and look at the application. So you got a lot of eyes on your applications. They're all faculty who are going to be deciding. If it's a master's student, if you're applying to the master's program, yeah, that's easy, right? If you got a good GPA, you have a solid resume, yeah, you're going to get in. Easy to do. PhD program, that's a little different, right? Because most students who are going into the PhD program are looking for some sort of funding. So we're definitely taking a close look at your resume. We're definitely looking at your transcript. We're definitely looking to see all the things you did. And because the PhD program is a very research-oriented degree, well, I'm going to want to make sure that we have students who can hit the ground in terms of research. In fact, the way that the economics of PhD programs work is such that the faculty members are the ones who are kind of making the decisions, because the faculty members are the ones that are coming with the money. Remember a few slides ago, I'm the one who wrote the proposal, right? I'm the one who got the resources that allows us to do a particular project. I'm going to be the one to really have the most influence on whether or not this particular student gets funded to be in the program. So we need to separate the concept of getting into the PhD program from getting funded to be in the PhD program. Those are 2 very different things. So, and the getting funded part, that is really, really going to be faculty specific. And they're really going to look to see what students have done in their prior degree program that might help them to be successful. Remember a few slides ago, we talked about me as a faculty member. I'm publishing, I'm presenting my work, I'm going after proposals, I'm managing research, but I need someone to do the research. Who is there to do the research? Well, I need to be able to pick a prospective PhD student who is going to do the research. Someone who probably does not need me to hold their hands the whole time while they're in the laboratory. Someone who's motivated, who's a self-starter, who's a problem solver, someone who's persistent, someone who knows how to communicate, someone who I can certainly give some mentorship to, but someone who I can, who I can take a step back from and I can focus on managing the research and doing proposals and doing those sort of things. Someone who can be independent, autonomous, a team player, all those things, right? So that's a little bit about how it works. The departments, kind of the people who are the graduate program director. So this person here, maybe I'll go to my laser pointer here. Uh, this person here is the one who's kind of like the gatekeeper, right? And if your application is not a strong application, right, then they'll probably put it over here in this other pile to be considered later on. So this person, these people kind of set the standards, right? Do you need to know who this person is? You probably don't need to know who this person is. But there is a person who's kind of doing that, and you might be asking them, send them an email, figure out, what's necessary to be in the PhD program, what's necessary to get admitted. You can ask them those sorts of things, and they should be able to tell you. This person also has a strong connection to the faculty in the departments. A good graduate program director is going to be able to know what every faculty member of the department is doing as far as research is concerned. They're going to know which faculty have money or are looking for PhD students, or what those research areas are. They're going to be able to understand that, because when they see a potential application that looks like a winner, they're going to say, hey, I saw this application from Isabella. Okay, here, I'm going to give that to Dr. So-and-so. Look, I noticed this person is applying. Here, consider this application, right? And maybe there'll be a little bit of competition to see whether or not you might fit into one group or another. That's why I have this picture here of the draft room, right? Because there's sometimes students are so good that some faculty will have to, are looking to kind of compete, whether to get the attention of the prospective graduate student. So that just gives you a little bit more insight on that. Let's talk about some of the attributes of great undergraduate students. Now that you know what I'm looking for as a faculty member, someone who can hit the ground running, let's talk about what are the attributes of a great researcher. Who's going to help me? What are the attributes of someone who's going to help me to do what I need to do to be a successful faculty member here? Someone who I can also still mentor. I need someone who's creative, right? You can come up with your own solutions to things. That is great. First and foremost, we need people with great ideas. Someone who is organized, right? Because there's going to be so many different journal articles that are coming out, so much data that's generated. We need someone who's organized, who's neat, who can keep the lab in good conditions. Look, research is a challenging thing. It's not always going to work, right? And so we need people who are going to be persistent. When the thing doesn't do, when you've got this device and it doesn't do what you expect it to do, right? You have to have an ability to not be stymied and go and figure it out. How do you make it work, right? Do you read a manual? Do you test something different? Do you turn this knob? Do you flip the switch? We need people who are going to keep going past and push past obstacles. We need someone who's going to be a collaborator. The nature of research is that you're going to be doing research over a small, 5-year window if you're in the PhD program. 5-year window. The faculty member is going to be there 20 years, 30 years, who knows? And so that research is going to be handed off to you. And then that research, after you're done, you're going to hand it off to the next person. You might be working on a big problem, a big challenge. And so you might be taking and slicing your part of that research up. You might be responsible for this. Someone else might be responsible for that. It'll be important for you all to be collaborators so you can kind of work on things together. We need someone who's going to be enthusiastic. If you're not going to be enthusiastic about your work, how do you expect someone to be enthusiastic about it for you, right? So you need to be excited about what it is that you're going to do. You need to be goal-oriented, right? Research can go on forever and ever and ever, right? And so you got to be able to figure out, well, I'm going to try to produce this data by this point. I'm going to try to produce this model by this point. right? You can always be making the system better and better and better. You can be making your survey better and better and better, but you gotta have a goal in mind, a deadline in mind, right? Especially when you're breaking new ground on technology. You got to be a good communicator, right? You have to be able to articulate your message to people either in an elevator pitch, a 3-minute thesis competition, or poster presentation. You have to be able to talk about what it is that you do, why it's important, and what help you need. You also have to be coachable. That's probably the biggest thing. I've put that, I've made that bold here. And so we need people who are going to be coachable. I remember early on in my graduate program, I gave a resume, a document that looks just like this one. I gave that to my advisor, and it came back all written up. Came back all, I mean, it was more writing that he put there than what I originally had, right? And students who get feedback like this can look at it in two ways. They can look at it and they can say, "Oh, I thought that this is going to be perfect. I thought that, you know, I did my best here, and you're telling me it's not the best. Oh my gosh, this is, you know." So they can be rejecting of the feedback, or they can see the feedback for what it is. They can see it as a chance to get better. And the students who see feedback like this, who can take it and look at it and say, look, someone is willing to spend this much time writing and giving me suggestions on how to improve, is someone who is in my corner, someone who wants to see me do better. I can't tell you how many students I've had to, you know, maybe redirect them and have them to go other places because they're not a good fit for what it is that we do, because they can't take feedback like this. Right? So my hope is that you can take feedback and you can take constructive criticism so that you can be better. We all want you to be better, right? So that's, I think that's a really important attribute. The other thing is that there's, you know, I get a lot of questions about, you know, should I be someone who is having strong grades, or someone who's instead of focusing on just classes, should I make research progress? There's no right answer there. Because there are benefits to both. Do I need to be more team oriented, or do I need to be able to work more autonomously? Again, no right answer there. There's some projects that are going to cause you to be more autonomous, and you're going to be more independent. You might be in a very small group. You might be the first student in a person's laboratory, right? So you might need to be, and the only student in their laboratory. So you might be very autonomous. Are you someone who likes to be micromanaged? Do this, do that, here, do this, and do that. I need this, I need that. Or do you want the space to try different things and to really be creative? There's no right answer there. Are you someone who is going to be engaged, or someone who's going to be distant, right? I've had some of my best students to be either of those. So some have been engaged. They're sending me an email every day. They're knocking on my door every day and letting me know what they're doing. And then there's some students I don't see them for a month, right? But at the end of the month, they show me what they're doing, and I'm like, oh, this is great. You were able, okay, go away, go do more, right? You're being successful independently and kind of autonomously. Do you need to be an experimentalist, or someone who's computational, or someone who's theoretical? There's no right answer there. It really depends on the research that you're doing. How about this? During your time in the undergraduate program, do you want to be someone who has just been in one lab, or do you want to be with several different labs? Sometimes I would say it is better to be in one lab during your time in the undergraduate program, so that you can have more depth of accomplishment. If you are with a different laboratory every year, then that sends an indication that also may mean that you don't get a chance to publish the work at this lab, because starting research, training, developing tools, developing a model, developing data, writing about it, it takes time to do. And as you transition from one lab to the next lab, you might not be able to really fulfill those later things if you're jumping around. So those are things to consider. There's some students who are also younger versus older. There's some students who come back to us in grad school after some time away. Again, there's no right answer there. Certain students who are a little older, they might bring with them a little bit more focus because they bring with them a little bit more experience, which is good. So what are the things that you need to do? The things that you need to do based on what I mentioned is to connect with the faculty. Let them know that you've been doing research. We have websites that are here. Universities like ours usually has a website dedicated to each of its faculty. Go and look to see what the faculty member is doing as far as their research is concerned. Go and click on their webpage, look at their papers. If they're doing things that align with your interests, you got to reach out to them. That's the best thing to do. Even if you're an undergraduate student with a 4.0 GPA and you've got lots of scholarships, you've got a lot of accomplishments during your time in the undergraduate program. Look, I don't know. I don't know you, right? If I didn't see you in a classroom, I might not know you. So, and I don't know that you might be interested in research. I rely on students coming to me, telling me that they're interested in research, right? So you have to take the first step there. So whether it's someone who's at your current university, someone who is at a university that you might be considering, you have to reach out, you have to send your resume, and you have to ask, hey, what would be needed for me to join your group? What kind of students are you looking for? Fortunately, at this university, in this College of Engineering and Computer Science, we have a research positions database. So if you go to our website there, you can see that there's a place where students can go to and they can see what our faculty are doing. They can get a little video from our faculty, so a little 20-minute talk. They can filter and see what faculty are doing in certain departments. They can see a link to their faculty members' website. They can email the faculty right through this. So this makes it easier for you to search something like cybersecurity if that's what you're interested in. How about biomimicry? Put it in there. Robotics. You can put it in there, see what happens. Then you can hear what the faculty member has to say in their own words with their own research talk. And then you can then decide, okay, I'm going to reach out to this faculty or not. Find 5 faculty that you're interested in at the university that you want to attend and look and see what they're doing. Send them an email, send them your resume. Out of the 5 that you message, one of them is not going to respond at all. One of them may respond and say, no, I'm not interested. Right? One of them may say, yes, I'm interested. Yes, can you send me your resume? Can we, I'd love to have a meeting with you, a Zoom meeting with you. Some may say, look, just apply to the program. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. It's going to be a mix of responses. It's not a love affair. So, okay. The next thing is, again, look for videos from faculty. So I've got a few videos that are here and you can kind of see what they're doing. Usually you can see what it is that they're doing, how their research is funded, and some of the stuff may align with your interests. We have this in our college. Others have it. You might be able to go to YouTube as well and see these sorts of things. Okay, guys, be quiet. Be quiet. Thank you. Okay. You also want to have some may talk about a Zoom, a Skype, a Teams interview. So talk about the research that you've done, talk about your interests, talk about what it is that you want to do. This may be 1 or 2 weeks in advance of when you actually do it. You want to familiarize yourself with their research and talk about the things that you've done and how it might sync up with what they're doing and what skill sets that you have. Talk about your strengths, right? Talk about your goals, how you plan to, use your presence in their program to jump on to whatever the next thing might be. I can tell you that in our College of Engineering and Computer Science, where we have 7 academic units, we are growing and growing and growing. So I have these pie charts from recent years. Fall 2010 shows that we had 1,200 grad students. uh, 2017, 1,500. Right now, this past fall and this spring right now, we have 2,500 graduate students. I expect when fall starts at 2026 that we'll have 2,700 graduate students. And that is because we're hiring faculty like crazy. This fall, we hired 40 faculty in our college. All of those faculty are like me. They're looking for PhD students. They're looking for people. They're trying to grow their laboratory. They're trying to what? Write proposals, manage research, teach classes. They need students to help them. So reaching out to new faculty is also very, very important because you can get some different experiences with new faculty. We've got a lot of programs here. I'm employed by UCF, so I got to talk about UCF here. We've at our College of Engineering and Computer Science, we have a lot of new programs. A lot of programs that we have are the first in the state. I don't know if you're aware of that. And so we've got a lot of great things that are happening. Every year we're launching new programs. So you may want to, as you consider universities, you may want to try to determine which degree programs out there are new, because usually they're trying to build those programs up a little bit. Okay. So some goals for you who are involved in undergraduate research. So while you're still doing undergraduate research, here are some things you have to consider. Consider maintaining a strongly positive relationship with your research mentor, right? Because that person is tethered to you for as long as you want to be tethered with them for, right? If you are needing letters of recommendation, that person is going to want to see you be successful. Yes, that only happens if you have a positive relationship with that faculty member. Demonstrate that you can do something on your own, right? Again, in my lab, I'm looking for people who don't need me to be around and spoon feed them, right? Do something on your own, design something on your own, learn a software on your own, do something that is unexpected. Have a major milestone, right? Develop a new model, find a new trend, develop a new innovation. These are things that we rely on graduate students for all the time. If you can do that as an undergraduate, that is wonderful. If you get a chance to publish your research, definitely do it. Those people there's not a requirement to be published as an undergraduate student to get into the graduate program, but it does make you stand out. Again, think of me as a faculty member. I've got to publish research. I've got to go and write proposals. If I have a student who has written a paper already and published research already, then I know that they're familiar with the process, right? I know that they can take an idea from, they can take a concept from the idea stage over to making tools, over to making models, and to writing those things and kind of bringing it home. That's great. I might favor a student that is like that. Manage your faculty members' expectation. Each of you has exams, final reports that are in your classes. Don't forget, you're here to primarily take classes. Let me know what's happening on that part of your academic profile so that I can manage my expectations of what you can and cannot do. Leave your undergraduate laboratory better than you left it, right? So you want to make sure that that your area that you're responsible for, the tools that you've developed, make sure they still continue to work. Make sure that you're able to take the knowledge that you've developed and you're able to share it with the next student. Apply to graduate school early. We have this much money available to fund graduate students, and we give it out on a first come, first served basis. So you want to apply to graduate school early. So those are the major things here. I think I'm getting towards the end of my talk here, and I hope that we have some good questions. So one is this. So I'll give you some tips. Getting admitted into the graduate program, beginning grad school, it takes some effort, right? It's not the easiest thing. You've got tests, you've got exams, you got final reports, you got to give out tickets to graduation, the commencement ceremony. You got a lot of things on your plate. So beginning So you're going to have to really, really make sure that applying to graduate school and doing some of the things that I mentioned earlier, as far as research is concerned, as far as reaching out to faculty is concerned, you have to make sure that you make time for that because you want to be doing those things early. Identify your motivation. Why do you even want to go to grad school, right? Because graduate school is tough, right? Only the top 10 or 5% of students, make it in and do well, right? So, it's not the easiest thing, right? Uh, so let's figure out what is going to be that fuel that's going to help you to get to the finish line, right? Is it because you're going to be the first in your family to go to grad school? Is it because you want to be a faculty member, right? Is it because you want to make big money? These are all great reasons, right? Identify what it is that's at the end of the journey so that you can keep focused on that. Apply early, I mentioned October, November. If you're applying in January and February to grad school, that's great. But if you're looking to get resources to help you study, maybe the money's gone by then. And then develop a roadmap. The old football coach here at UCF used to say, plan your work and work your plan. So develop a strategy for you to make a strong application and dossier for getting into graduate school. And once you develop that plan, execute it, right? You can do this every fall. We're bringing in 800 new graduate students here in this college. I think it was actually 850 this past fall. 150 of those are PhD students. All of them had to do the same process of applying to our grad program and getting letters of recommendations and talking to faculty and all those things. You can do it. You're in the best position to do that. If you wanted to come here to UCF, you're ahead in the competition because you are here. You're here on campus where other students who are other places in the state, other places in the country, other places in the world would love to be here for just a day to be able to connect face to face with the faculty members that are here. You can do that while you're here. So, okay, so those are the things that I have today. I'm very thankful for you sharing your attention with me today. I know you're very busy in the various programs that you have. A lot of the data, a lot of the graphs and pictures and all that, it comes from a variety of other folks. So I'm very thankful for their contribution here. But really, I want to open it up to questions, and I hope that you have some questions for me that I can answer. Okay. I don't know if there are any questions.
I don't have any questions in the chat yet.
Okay,
Let's see.
that's fine.
Here we go. We have one question. How can I best prepare for a PhD?
Well, so that's a great question. With regards to preparing for the PhD, I would say if you got into a PhD program, I don't really need to know what PhD program you got into, but I would reach out to the faculty member who is going to be your mentor. Every PhD student has a mentor. If it's possible for you to identify who your mentor might be when you start, ask that question to the person who's going to be your mentor. I can tell you that if you're joining the PhD program here, let's say in mechanical and aerospace engineering, what are the things you're going to do? I would just be sure to make sure that your funding situation is set. If you can pick out what classes you're going to be involved in, that's great. If you can know what laboratory you're going to be jumping into, that's great. Some laboratories have an expectation that some students know certain programming languages or software or hardware. Is it possible you can do some of these things beforehand? I don't know. This would be a good question for whoever your research mentor might be, or whoever your graduate program's director might be. Thank you for that question, and congratulations on your acceptance. Okay. What would you say is the goal regarding the number of quality of publications during undergrad and getting into a good PhD program? Look, that's a great question. it's all over the place. I would say, the more you can get is great. If you could get one where you're the lead author, that would be outstanding. If you could get one where it's a journal article where you're a lead author, that would be pretty good. I think that would be good. If you could get it, that would be great. If not, that's okay. If you can get your name on an article, that's okay too. If you could get a lead author on a paper, then that would be wonderful. I would push for that. Um, so I wouldn't say that there's a number that's there. I would just make sure you could go for the one. If you could go for the one, then that would be good. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions I can answer?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Hypothetically, if, let's say I've been told a lot of students are saying if I'm interested in a faculty member's lab, I should see what the lab is like or how the mentor interacts with students. So let's say hypothetically I'm meeting with a faculty mentor at a university I'm interested in. What would you say or recommend would be the best way to ask that faculty member or research advisor? I would like to meet with some of your students. Could you maybe set that up for me? How would you give us some advice to maybe go through that process for students who are interested?
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
that's great. Some universities, not necessarily this one, but some universities have it where they have a prospective graduate student day where students come to campus, right, and they get a chance to tour facilities. It's a lot like the undergraduate open house kind of thing, but they do it for grad students. Universities who bring in lots of graduate students kind of do this sort of thing, so they have this open house. So I would do exactly that. I would talk with the advisor before the open house or before you have a chance to visit the school, and just ask them if, hey, look, I'm going to be in town. I'm going to be in, I'm going to be in Atlanta. Let's say I'm going to be Atlanta. You got accepted there. You say, look, I'm going to be here on this date. I'd love to come by and meet with you and get a chance to tour the lab and meet with some students and ask them if you can meet with students. Some faculty will say, yes, yeah, absolutely, come. Yeah, come here. You can meet. Yeah. And then some may not. If you can, then that would be great. A lot of those just really depend on what the university has in terms of open houses. Sometimes the university doesn't have an open house. You just have to go in and make it happen on your own and just decide, look, I'm just going to go up here for this particular weekend. I'm going to rent a hotel room. I'm going to stay with my cousin who's there. Then I'm going to visit the campus. I'm going to be there all day and kind of let the faculty member know, look, I'd like to come to campus on this day and do these sorts of things. Would you be available and supportive? And kind of have that discussion with the prospective faculty member. Okay? That's a
Thank
great
you.
question.